It's not for women. I take a sip of this, and Dr. Pepper himself drops down from the ceiling and breaks my neck. I found out I was trans when I tried to drink this, and my hand clipped through it. Who am I supposed to invite to my wedding when I have like 3 friends and dislike most of my family? Hear me out. Dogs and cats in fancy clothes. A friend of mine tried to sell his soul on eBay, and the starter price was $10, and people were bidding on it, but before anything happened, eBay took it down and sent him an email explaining that if he was selling a soul that didn't actually exist, then it was against their policy, and if he was selling a real soul, then that is a human body part, and it is also against their policy. I ate an edible and saw Cats 2019. And let me tell you, was not ready for the main cat's name to be my name too, and when one of those fuckers on screen said my name I jumped. Cats on a 50 feet tall screen. Victoria. Me. White knuckle gripping my boyfriend's forearm. We have to go right now, immediately, or I'm going to die. You are famous. From now on, you no longer get in trouble for stealing horses. Oh, just like real life. This is what pops up in a YouTube vlogger's peripheral vision when they hit 1 million subs. Why do little kids always tantrum scream like they're reenacting Jurassic Park? Their emotions are too big for their little bodies, y'all. They feel just as intensely as we do. Well, maybe they should get bigger bodies. They do. It takes several years. Several years. Typical millennial laziness. Probably bad RPG ideas. Give your players a disintegration gun. What it actually does is shoot people into the future. In the final session, all the people they shot with it blink into existence around them at once. OP. Please change your URL. We can't see the slides. This isn't surreal. This is high school and college. DM to our bard. The 6 cultists shove you to the ground, bow to the massive green dragon, and say, "Oh great one, we have brought you this human sacrifice. As tribute to your greatness, please accept our offering." Rest of party, looking on from a distance. Shh, he's dead. He's so dead. R.I.P. Edward. DM. The dragon thanks the cultists and asks if you have any last words. Bard. I look up at the dragon and say, "I have brought you this these 6 cultists as tribute to your greatness." Rest of party. Oh shh. DM, who was clearly not expecting that. Roll persuasion. Bard. 17. DM. The dragon says, "I like you, duck." Bard. I duck. DM. The dragon incinerates the cultists with his poison breath and leaves you alive, flying off with his treasure. Bard. Oh my god, I thought I was dead. DM. Honestly? So did I. Okay, so this is something everyone on Tumblr should know. Imagine Dragons was hired to write demo tracks for Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, aka the Spider-Man musical on Broadway, in order to get people to invest in it and have enough money to hire someone more famous to write the musical. Then the people who hired them thought, hey, these are actually good songs, we should make a CD of them and sell it. So, Imagine Dragons changed the words a little so they weren't about Spider-Man and became famous. Radioactive was originally about the radioactive spider that bit Spider-Man. You know, I read this and thought, but there's no way that's true, but apparently it is. There was a little girl in church, about 5, and her parents obviously let her get dressed herself that day because she came waddling in with the puffiest coat on in the summer in North Carolina. She comes and sits in the pew in front of us. 15 minutes into mass she turns around and hands my husband an orange. Her parents are mortified. "Savannah, not again," they scold. "Again kills me." They apologize and she turns back around. A few moments later, she goes to hand me an orange, but her parents grab it from her before she can. Savannah is determined. She reaches her tiny fists into her puffy coat and pulls out 2 more oranges. She begins to distribute them. Her parents are now beet red and in shock. There is no stopping small Savannah now. This small child proceeds to laugh a laugh I can only call maniacal in a Catholic church, unzip the inner line of her coat, and releases what had to have been 20 to 30 of those little kid oranges into the pews. We eat, Savannah yells, cackling. The priest can no longer contain his glee. The entire church is dying with laughter. She felt like Jesus on the mountain with the baskets of fish that day, I'm sure. Children are amazing. So in Russian, nouns are either animate or inanimate grammatically, depending on whether they move. Well, the Russian word for corpse is animate, which raises quite a few terrifying questions about Russia's past. Rasputin's influence was extensive. I'm tricking my students into writing a research paper by having them write an open letter and then strengthen their argument by adding evidence. They were allowed to write about anything they wanted for the first draft of their open letter, and one of my 10th grade boys decided he wanted to write about girls who only like bands because the members are cute and don't really care about the music. I'll let him do it, because I've found that shutting down a student's idea at the first draft stage tends to make them more obstinate about the topic. I figured we'd get to the evidence gathering stage. He wouldn't be able to find scholarly sources, and he would change his topic. Well, lo and behold, today he comes into class and tells me he's changing his topic. Apparently, he couldn't find any evidence and he figured he was being kind of hypocritical because he gets really excited about athletes he doesn't even know, and the only reason that's different than fangirls is because it's him. He actually told me that he realized that writing that first letter would be pretty condescending. He's going to write about LGBT rights instead. This next generation, y'all. There's some good stuff happening. Excellent teaching method A+++. Bless you. What kind? It's a thong. This was the weirdest movie ever. Shrek 2 was the highest grossing film of 2004 and is the 26th highest grossing film of all time. It's like that's his truck and has ordering from a drive-thru at 12 AM. Chicken sandwich and scratch my butt please. I still think a friend zone should be a big calzone you share with your friends. Dr. Crowbar's lung extensions. Shh, don't tell anyone I handed you this card. With extended lungs you can scream longer, breathe harder, brag about extended lungs. This procedure is not legal, but I will do it for you. Do not tell the police or my family. I emailed them as a joke, and they gave me a scarily realistic response, and I was too scared to say anything back. I emailed them, and I never got a reply. I'd like you to show yours. Dr. Crowbar's lung expansion. Hello, this is Dr. Crowbar. Please understand, I'm receiving hundreds, perhaps billions, of inquiries right now into the lung expansion service. In lieu of a personal response, here are some answers to some frequently asked questions. Frequently asked questions. How does it work? Your lungs are taken and expanded to 3 times their standard length. What is the recovery period? You must breathe through a respirator for 3 months following the operation, and only eat soft foods, like cheese or cream cheese. How soon can I get it done? Thursday. Please ask yourself, do I really want to have my lungs expanded? If yes, please reply with how much money you are willing to pay for such an operation. If the amount isn't high enough, I will not do the procedure. Thank you, Dr. Crowbar. P.S. Please do not tell anyone about the service I'm offering. The service is illegal in every country due to high mortality rate. This is the response I got. Hundreds, perhaps billions. My girlfriend walked outside this morning to see this. A bunch of snails in a circle, with leader in the middle. We've found it. Snail church. Snurch. Take me to Snurch. According to my little cousin, my hands are so cold because I have a secret ghost boyfriend who holds my hand a lot. Clearly mine has a foot fetish. So last night was my first welding class, and the second I walked through the door, the teacher said, "Hey, you're Zoe, right?" And I started to panic, because how does the teacher immediately know who I am? Did I have this teacher before? How come I don't recognize him? I'm a terrible person. Turns out, I'm just the youngest person in the class by about 30 years, so the deduction wasn't that hard. Anyways, apparently people keep taking the welding class over and over again, and the waitlist is like 100 people long, and so it was by some act of providence of pure dumb luck that I managed to get a spot. This also means I was the only person there who hadn't welded before. I'm stationed at a big center table where the teacher can keep an eye on me, and everyone else is in booths on the surrounding walls, each making their own projects. And these are impressive looking projects. One guy is making a side table, a woman is making a giant metal rocking chair, and another guy was making a wind chime out of old compressed air canisters. The elderly gentleman in the booth right behind me introduces himself to me as Jim and asks me if this is my first time, and I say yeah, and he smiles at me and tells me I'm gonna love it and how this class is so fun. Immediately, Jim becomes my new best friend. He comes over whenever I stop to take a break and asks how I'm doing, and even helps me take the welding mask off when I couldn't figure out how to do it myself. At one point, I see Jim and another old guy talking to the teacher, and I catch the old guy pointing at me. Now, being pointed at is usually never a good thing. The teacher has had me welding edges of scrap metal together so I can get a feel for the equipment. The teacher comes to check on me, and I jokingly ask him if those seasoned guys were making fun of me. Turns out, I'm super good at welding, and the old guy didn't believe it was my first time welding ever, and Jim was trying to convince him I was a newbie. So for the entire 3-hour-long class, like 15 middle-aged and elderly people would periodically come by my table and check in with me, making sure I'm having fun, and asking me questions about my life, and things like, do you know where the drinking fountain is, making sure I'm taking breaks, looking out for me, and that kind of thing, all while being completely kind and supporting, and complimenting me on my welding skills. And that's how a community center welding class gave me 15 new grandparents. I love them all, and this class is going to be amazing. This is so pure. So, what do you all bring to the team? I can fly. I shoot lasers. I make good life decisions. That's not really a super. No, trust us, she's our most important member. So many D&D campaigns. John is too good for this world. No. Tell the story. The little boy, whose name escapes me, has a brain tumor. He wanted to meet Finn, but he didn't want him to himself. He wanted Finn to visit with all the kids at the pediatric ward. John stayed in character the entire time, and he taught Finn about all kinds of Earth things. The little girl is Layla. She asked Finn where he was. He said he didn't know. Kylo knocked him out, and he didn't know where I was. And she said, that's okay, I'll be your AI. I'm crying, and so are you! Exclamation mark. The little boy's named Daniel. You can read an article about it here. And here are some more pictures, which are precious. Victor Frankenstein, sweaty and sickly. Please F off. Please F off. Please F off. His reanimated corpse son. PP the cat. I'm just a little creature. That's it. I cannot change this. So I'm gonna kill your wife. This is my favorite reply on this post, because for a moment I forgot the creature kills Victor's wife, and I thought you were threatening me.